Hey everybody, christopherodd here, and welcome to my playthrough of This Is the Police 2. I've spent the better part of my most recent weekend playing the original game for probably about 8 to 10 hours, and I found myself, like, hooked. It's one of those games that's like, I'm just gonna do one more day, just go through one more thing, and I found myself really engaged in the narrative, the overall story that was being told. This Is the Police 2 has taken a lot of the core elements from the first one and expanded on them and made it a lot more in your control, as it were. They have implemented some XCOM-like tactical missions. That's not the core gameplay, but certain missions allow you to control all of your police officers on the field, and they each have unique abilities, they have perks, they have unique approaches. Not every officer can do the same thing, different weapon loadouts, things like that. So that'll be fun to dive into. But at the core of the game, this is still about the narrative and the story that's being told, and that story is told in a few different ways. There are some, like, comic book style reveals that happen. You have choose your own adventure stuff in there. There's some voice acted scenes, animated scenes. There's some scenes that are just us reading, and from early reviews, I believe the first cutscene is actually quite long. But that'll give us a good tone for what we're about to dive into. So I'm pretty excited to check this out. This is the Police 2. I'll have links down below if you want to check it out. And yeah, I think we're going to play the whole thing, guys. I'm pretty excited. We're going to dive into a new story here, get to know our police officers, see who's corrupt and who's not, who we can trust, who we can't. We're probably going to be the most corrupt of them all. We'll see. We'll see. But let's get into it. I should say, this takes place in, like, a remote, kind of northern town. Kind of think like a Fargo-esque area. At approximately 1 in the morning, the Sharpwood Police Department received an anonymous call. The source said that he knew where we could find the headquarters of the Neckties. Neckties are a gang of drug traffickers that recently arrived in the town. Anonymous information is rarely reliable, but for Sheriff Wells, shutting down the Neckties was the department's primary goal. So he immediately went to the address indicated, along with 2 other officers, for backup. All right. Okay, so this is like a tutorialized version of what we can expect in some of the XCOM-like combat. So it's going to tell us where to move. A policeman usually performs 2 actions per turn. Moving a short distance is 1 action.
Roger.
Hide behind the generator. You can see, like, even the cover icons, you want to be behind cover. I think one of the key differences separating this from XCOM is this is a lot more stealth focused. You don't want to get into big shootouts because you'll notice there's no health bars. And so oftentimes, if your cop gets shot, your cop's gone. And the challenge with this game, I think, is, like, you have to continuously do well to hire more police officers, and you can find yourself stuck in this, like, downward spiral. If you're losing officers left, right, and center, then you have less people to go out on other calls, which results in not being able to hire more officers because you're not making enough currency. It's could be pretty intense, I think. Any cover makes you almost invisible to the enemy. If he hasn't yet raised the alarm, an offender can spot a sheltered cop only if he approaches from the side. All right. Oh, that's cool, the little footprints in the snow. Okay, so we spotted 1. We're going to send this guy up to behind the logs. A cop can spend 2 actions on movement. If a cop runs into a criminal, he will halt, and the action is interrupted. Okay. All clear. Don't stick your head out. It's more difficult to hit a person hiding behind full cover than someone behind partial cover, which our time in XCOM has taught us. So there's a little pause where it's like, okay, there's somebody, and then it carries on, so it, like, highlights where they're standing. What is on the top of this van? I saw, like, the gutted bear hanging over here. We've got, like, the deer. It's kind of crazy. Okay, if the enemy spots you, then he'll raise the alarm during his turn. If the alarm is raised, cops are visible even if they're behind cover, but cover still makes you harder to hit. So what this is basically saying is that you can go here and execute an action before he has the opportunity to raise the alarm. He's going to raise the alarm on their turn. So let's get in close. So now he's aware that we're here, obviously. We're going to whack the criminal with a baton to the head, or he'll raise the alarm and compromise the whole operation. Stunned and wounded criminals don't resist arrest. So this little bar that just filled here, this is kind of like, we'll see this in the future, but this is kind of like the probability of success. This is 100%. We're right next to him. The baton briefly stuns the criminal. Guaranteed hit, does not leave marks on the body. But you can see we also have tasers, shockers, pepper spray, perks specific to that cop. Regular shooting, knives, and then arresting. So let's knock him down.
Roger.
We're gonna get closer with this next cop. Some actions can only be performed if you're standing directly in front of an object. So let's get close. We're gonna arrest the criminal. They're gonna remain on the ground and cannot raise the alarm. So we just go ahead and handcuff them.
Get on the ground.
Now we can't just run up to them and handcuff them. We have to like incapacitate them in some way, it seems. Now let's remember we had two guys showing over here, so we're going to approach from this right side. Perhaps one of the criminals is patrolling behind the minivan. I like the music too. It's really good. It's like tense. We're gonna go around the obstacle. Another lookout has disappeared from the policeman's view and is most likely behind the logs. We saw people skittering about in this area.
580.
Okay. Shoot with the taser. Cops can carry non-lethal gear aside from batons. A taser effectively stuns at a distance, but each shot requires a cartridge. So our resources are finite. These are things that we're going to have to buy later on. So that whole aspect is something we have to actually manage. So sometimes batons and knives are not enough. The taser is effective at medium range and stuns the offender for several turns.
Roger.
Okay. Now, I noticed with this guy, when we use the baton, his icon was split into, like, 2 halves. This guy's split into 4. I think the way that this works, and maybe it'll get explained, but that represents the number of turns that they're, like, incapacitated for, you know? Now, it looks like it wants us to go right next to this person. A stunned criminal will be out of it for several turns, so you'll have time to reach the criminal and arrest him, but if the suspect comes to his senses, he'll immediately raise the alarm. So even though we have somebody out in this section, I guess because we have the cover of the van and the side of this, he can't quite see us. But we're going to move in here. Enemies can not only see you, but also hear you. If an offender sees you from afar or hears a suspicious noise, he's sure to leave his post and check the area. So we're running like right up in front of him. I imagine... okay. Another way to take down a criminal is to use a pepper spray. Equipment like stun grenades, taser cartridges, shockers, and pepper spray disappear after use. They're single use. So we're going to pepper spray him. Effectively stuns the criminal. Highly reliable. If the spray gets into eyes, do not attempt to rinse with water.
Roger.
So he's down. So pepper spray is 3 turns. Taser looks like 4 turns. Baton is 2 turns. That's cool. Now we can arrest the guy.
On the ground.
Got him. Now, I don't know how it's going to work if people get, like, spotted when they're arrested on the ground like this, but we're going to take some cover here behind this rail car. And looks like we're preparing to breach. You can look into the room through the window or take a position next to the open door. Don't blunder into the house blinds. Okay. We're going to move closer and arrest this guy.
On the ground.
I, for one, really appreciate kind of like this stealth approach. Instead of just getting to these gunfights, which I'm sure will happen. We have the ability to shoot stuff, so... Alright. If you still haven't raised the alarm, then the enemy won't see you through the window. Okay, that's good to know.
Roger.
Hello. So even if he's facing this way, I guess he wouldn't see that, because we'd kind of like be sneaking underneath it. Then we can run up here to prepare to engage. Take down the door. Only a policeman with the appropriate perk can pick locks or break down doors. Noise from a broken window or door will attract the enemy's attention. Okay, so we have the cop-specific perks. He's got this battering ram. We loudly break through the door or the window. We also have things like burglar, where we can silently do it. Awareness, the location of criminals is highlighted for 1 turn, works once per mission. Interception, we can spend remaining actions and finish the move. During the opponent's move, the cop can fire at the first criminal he sees, kind of like an Overwatch. Shadow, we can spend 1 action and move right in front of the enemy without them even noticing. Patience, we can spend all the current actions in exchange for a bonus action next turn, so we get up to 3. And then negotiation, we can contact criminals by radio and postpone the explosion of a bomb for several moves. This works once per mission. Policeman spends his turn entirely. I should point out that these are, like, cop-specific, so not everybody has all of these, and you gain these by leveling up your officers. So we're gonna do the battering ram here.
Roger.
And then I guess we're just shooting. Firearms can kill or disarm a suspect and inflict serious wounds. A wounded person will die in a few moves unless he's evacuated. Gunshots immediately raise the alarm, so think twice before opening fire. But it does look like it wants us to just take a shot. So we're gonna shoot. You can see what the probabilities are. It wants us to shoot in the hand, which means we won't be able to shoot, but he can certainly try to escape. Whereas if you shoot like in the legs and they're incapacitated, but they can still shoot, this one like would cause them to bleed out probably, and this is probably like an instant kill.
Roger.
So I guess that little icon with the hand and the X means that he's unable to use his hands anymore. He can't shoot, but he can still raise the alarm, still run. Yeah, there he goes.
590.
Okay, now we're gonna jimmy the window. So we have this burglar one. Now I'm not sure why. It's probably just teaching us all the different options here, because this guy like kicks down the door, even though it seemed like he had this perk available. But now we're gonna just silently open this.
980.
And we're gonna prepare to breach. Same thing here, except we're gonna break this one down.
Roger.
I think as a tutorial, it's just showing us like what the possibilities are. It's also interesting to note like their positions. So we're gonna put somebody on the door, 2 others that are behind it to maybe react. And we're gonna break this down.
Roger.
That's cool. It's a nice little tease for what these missions could be like. Notice like the bodies lined up outside. The one thing that I remember, well, not the one, there's many things that I remember from the first game, but something that really stood out was how graphic and potentially obscene some of the cases are. Like you'll have rapes, murders, kidnappings, like the craziest stuff. It's all there. There was racism, like everything you could think of that like cops would run into. It's there. So here we go, November 21st.
But today I wasn't so lucky. I mean, it wasn't just a regular funeral, was it? All Sharpwood showed up. Can you imagine? I had a teacher, Mrs. Dawson. I haven't seen her since the 3rd grade. Figured she'd moved or died. I mean, it's not easy to lose track of someone in this town, right? And today, I'm looking at her in the crowd, all alive and healthy. Imagine, right? And the crowd was huge. It wasn't even a crowd, more like a whole river of people. I mean, you look at all of them and you can't even see the end. All the roads were blocked. Just thinking. It's weird. There's this dead guy who's making it so an alive guy can't get his groceries on time, right? I mean, I just wanted to say...
Interesting way to look at it.
I really respect Sheriff Wells. He died a hero, right? Ask anyone. Everybody says he's a hero.
Oh, so that...
I'm just saying, I got a job to do. I don't want to lose it. Nobody wants to lose a job because it's not easy to find a new job in Sharpwood, right? So,
The money's right there in front of your nose. Don't bother with the change.
He's back. This is the guy
Mr.
from the
Nash.
first game that we basically controlled.
I just wanted to say that you don't need to call Mr. Summers. I mean, he'll be yelling at me either way. I deserve it, right? I'm just... Oh, by the way, those cigars you asked about? Caesars, right? Mr. Summers said we normally don't have them in stock, but we can order them. Maybe it'll take a couple of weeks or so, but what's a couple of weeks when it's a quality product, right? I remember one day I was looking...
Forget it. I don't know how long I'll be staying.
Oh, I hope. I mean, I hope that you won't be leaving too soon. You're like our best customer. Oh, or at least one of our best customers, am I right? I know there's a lot of stuff going on. Lots of folks are leaving. Even Pale Charlie left, and he's even older than you. He's 90 or something. Maybe even 100. I mean, I'm sure you'll find yourself a decent job, right? I mean, have a good day, Mr. Nash.
Mr. Nash. It's interesting, because that is not Mr. Nash. That is Jack Boyd. The main guy that we were controlling in the first one.
So we're getting rid of this thing tomorrow?
What? We do what?
That drawing thing in the hall. We're taking it down tomorrow? I already called Uncle Dimitri. He'll cart it off for us. Might even get a couple of bucks for it.
Whoa. First, it's not a drawing. It's a tapestry, okay? A beautiful work of art. You didn't notice, did you? Second, it's hanging there for a reason. And third, and most important,
Oh, you mean that drawing in the hall? Great. I'll get a hanger tomorrow so we can put the TV up there. And maybe a VCR, too. What do you think?
Jesse, we are not taking down the tapestry.
TV? That's not a bad idea. Sure, but I was thinking, well, I thought we could put a snack machine here. I'm tired of having to drive 20 minutes over to Bad Ears gas station for smoked cheese in the middle of work. Like I've got nothing better to do.
Oh,
right?
yeah, clearly.
As if I,
You see how much space that giant thing takes up? We can put a TV up, an arcade game, probably even a pinball machine. Speaking of which, my son moved in with his wife and dairy, so we've got an extra VCR. Only thing is, he took all his videotapes with him, so we can't...
Oh, no, tapes are no problem. I've got lots of tapes. Plus, if we tell the guys that everyone's bringing in a couple of movies, then we...
Look, I just need you to...
Hey, what kind of movies you got?
They
All
just
sorts.
talk
Bloody
right over
Shirt,
her.
Bloody Shirt 2, Bloody Shirt 3, Bloody Shirt 4, Hard-Boiled Women, Demons on Fifth Avenue.
And you've got that movie where this pilot is flying around the Earth, but he's running out of fuel over the ocean, so he makes a deal with Satan, and Satan sends him to fight an army of skeletons, and the skeleton general, you can't fuck with him.
Yeah, that's the
I'd watch
Wind
that.
Blows Into Hell. One of my favorites. Goes without saying, that's every man's favorite movie. Am I right or am I right? When I saw him at the end, when the girl throws the sword into the fire, my heart jumped out of my chest. Betty almost needed to call the ambulance. I swear to God.
You need to take better care of yourself, old man.
I've also got this movie. It's actually a cartoon, but it's for adults, This guy gets the ability to undress people with his mind. So he goes into work, and he works in a bank, and his boss is a real bitch. But the bitch has some great boobs, and she calls him
Jesus.
over to her.
Tomorrow. We'll just discuss it tomorrow.
And she says there's some problem
So
with this
over it.
quarterly report. Some kind of paper got filed in wrong, and he asked, like you should.
What the hell, Gail? Sit down and get ready to type. We agreed.
Lily, we'll finish that damn letter of yours tomorrow. And if we're lucky, we'll even...
Gail, take off your stupid hat and get back to your desk. I'm the sheriff and you'll do what I say. I'm the sheriff.
Lily, you do know you don't have to be such a bitch, right?
Jeez. She must love her job.
Bad Ears gas station closes in half an hour, so if we don't finish this stupid letter in the next 10 minutes, I'll be out of smokes until the morning. And if that happens, I'll be coming into work in a bad mood tomorrow. And if I come into work in a bad mood,
Just shut up and type.
Okay.
Is she like a secretary?
I'm ready. And for God's sake, let's stop taking half an hour on every sentence, okay?
First, read what you've got so far.
Of course, we won't be able to pay you serious money. It's like we won't be able to pay you anything at all. But I hope that you feel the same as me, that the safety of our native town of Sharpwood is a question of duty and honor, and not of material gain.
No, not just the last sentence. Read everything from the beginning.
Lily, come on.
Read it from the
He's
top.
gonna snap. Oh, God.
Dear Captain Carter, I imagine you've already heard the sad news that has prompted me to write you. I'll be frank. This letter you're holding is a plea for help. The police department of Sharpwood
All right,
was deprived.
that's enough. I can't take it anymore. We'll just pick up where we left off. Do you think Captain Carter will even read this?
Lily, let's just finish it. And then...
They got him. The guy from the flower shop, remember? He's one of the neckties. We're sure this time.
Where are they taking him? Are they bringing him here?
They already did. He's here.
Did he have the goods on him? Has he said anything? What does he know?
Well, you want to find out, or you're just gonna sit there?
Total, like, insubordination, hey? Oh, God. This is one of the neckties. Who just recently killed Sheriff
What
Wells.
happened to him?
Well, as far as I understand, he had a hard time getting into the car.
Right. Didn't like getting out of the car either. And he really didn't like the stairs. And when we handcuffed him, wow, that was no fun at all. And then when he sat down on a chair, he accidentally...
Cut the shit, Charlie.
What? The sheriff asked a direct question, and I'm trying...
Get out! All of you!
Lily, I think it'd be best if you just...
What's the problem, Gail? Isn't it best if the sheriff interrogates important suspects? Isn't it great when the commander takes a personal interest in the work? Don't you think?
Okay, guys, you hear that? Let's get out of here.
Wally Melton. Okay, so now we choose how to approach this guy. We know somebody in your gang that murdered Sheriff Wells. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Maybe I'll let you go. You and your friends lured Sharpwood Sheriff into an ambush and killed him like a bunch of cowards. Yeah, that's right. You and your necktie gang. Can you even imagine how hard we're coming down on you? You're from around here, right? I'm sure you heard Sheriff Wells got killed. So what do you know about it? So it's like, do we want to take like a hard-ass approach? Or kind of a softer approach and see if he opens up? Let's see what he says. You're from around here, right? I'm sure you heard Sheriff Wells got killed. What do you know about it? No, I'm not from around here, and this is the first time I'm hearing about this sheriff of yours. First time I've seen you, too. What are you, some kind of secretary? Not gonna like that. I'm not leaving here until you tell me where your hideout is. Sure, fine, you win. It's at 69 Dick. Go check it out. You'll love it. Classic. Classic.
You could at least hide the suitcase.
What? Oh, this? It's just...
Charlie, shut your trap and get ready to question the suspect.
What's in the briefcase?
Lily, I just want
You
to...
do understand, Gail, that this will soon be over. All of this. You understand that, right?
I know, Lily. I know.
I need to finish writing that letter to Captain Carter.
Okay, we're back at Boyd or Nash's place, it looks like.
Hello, my name is Bogdan. Are you satisfied with your water supply system? I bet you're not. I am here to solve your problem.
Excuse me, what?
It's not so nice to run to the toilet outside in the cold, is it? Especially at our age. You go once, you go twice, and by then you've already frozen your butt off. And it's lucky it's the only thing you've frozen off. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about.
I believe you, Bogdan.
And you know what I'm talking about too, don't you?
Look, listen, this isn't my house. I'm just renting it.
All the better. So the homeowner will pay for everything, while you will enjoy the new toilet in warmth and comfort.
Are you
got a gun.
selling toilets? You sell toilets at night?
Don't be silly. We'll replace your whole water system. A new toilet in the house is, well, it's the cherry on the cake. You're right. I'm here a little after hours. Well, you see, our farm is just taking its first steps in this business, so I can only visit my customers after I'm done with my day
Yeah,
job.
he's not sketchy at
But
all.
the toilet inside your house is doubly good at night, right? Do understand your needs, sir. I myself had to run to the toilet outside for 20 years every night. But when I finally got a toilet inside my house,
Please go. Just go. I want you to leave.
I know what you're thinking. You think that in such a small house there's simply no room for a toilet. But I assure you, if you just allow me to come in
fear for
a
this
moment,
guy.
Right now. I'm asking you to leave.
I just want to save both of us some time, that's all. I know that you'll change your mind. The next time you need to go in the middle of the night, you'll remember me and think, damn, that guy was right. A toilet in the house is what every adult man needs. So why don't
I've
we...
asked you to leave. You need to leave. Now. Leave.
All right. But I bet you won't last a week before you change your mind. I'm telling you right now, you won't last a week.
Pretty sure that's... We're not talking about toilets. Pretty sure that that's a threat. Midnight toilet salesman. Come on now. In the first game, Jack Boyd was going through some rough times. He had to try and get, like, $500,000 to retire, but his, like, wife left him for a younger guy, and the mafia was involved. He's had a rough one. Get drunk and write a letter. That always goes well. Dear Dylan, Oliver, and Edgar, I'd give anything to be sitting with you on the porch of our old house, smoking a cigar, talking and passing the day. I know you have a lot of questions for me, a lot of unpleasant questions. It's not hard to hear them in my head, but it won't be so easy to find the right answers. Is it true what they're saying about you? My only crime was wanting to take care of myself and my family. Sorry, it took me that long, or my crime was I trusted the wrong people. I was used and thrown in the trash. So this is kind of like, I guess, revealing some of the backstory of Jack. I'm gonna say my only crime was wanting to take care of myself and my family. I'm just sorry it took me that long. And I guess these are questions that the family has about us. Why did you flee from Freiburg? It's not that I ran away, I just needed time to regroup so I could go back and clear my name. Sometimes retreat's the only way to victory. Or I ran because I didn't want to be killed in prison. I know so much about every influential scoundrel in the city that they would never let me live to see my day in court. That's true. Why did Mom really leave? this is the younger guy, the 30-year-old insurance agent. Hope he gave her exactly what she wanted. Or, Sally, your grandmother once told me that I'm too old and I don't have any energy, and that's why Laura left. I didn't really understand what she meant at the time, but now it seems she hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's probably true that we were just like, became like lackadaisical and she wanted something new and exciting. And it seems like in these responses, we can either take responsibility for what we did or we can like blame the others. So I'm gonna go with this one. We'll take responsibility. Did you have an affair on the side too? I wouldn't say that. For one thing, your mother had already left, and it's strange to call a relationship between two people an affair if they only talked on the phone and never met. Or, it was your mother who had the affair. Everything that happened to me later was just an amusement, a naive love fantasy that never became a reality. In any case, it's over. My amusement wants to put me in jail. So, okay, interesting. Let's go here. I want to find out more about who this person was where he only talked on the phone and never met. But it turns out that they wanted to put us in jail. Why did you get in bed with the mafia? I didn't go to them. They left me no choice. When they threaten to hang your children's heads from a chandelier, you'll do exactly what they ask of you. So, at the beginning of This Is the Police, we're faced with this decision from our friend who was like in with the mafia and was like, he needs our help. And we kind of refused him. And he ended up, we got a picture of our friend and his whole family with their heads hanging from chandeliers. Yeah. So we were kind of forced into it, but we went along with it too. We got like really into the corrupt side of things. It was pretty nasty. Did we kill people? Well, didn't kill anyone with my own two hands, but I gave orders that led to some deaths. This is true. Sometimes these were bad people, sometimes not so much. It's up to you whether you think that makes me a killer. There were certain situations where, in order to get rid of like a bad cop on our squad, we would set up these hits with the mafia, these fake calls that we would send them out to, knowing that they were just going to get ambushed and killed. So, I mean, kind of. That's terrible. It's terrible now that we have to like write it out. How is your health? Feel good despite parting with your mother, fleeing from the feds, and surviving 2 comas. One thing I know for sure, I won't survive a third. I'm not complaining, but I'm lonely. I'm afraid I'm not going to make any new friends here. Either way, new friends at my age don't lead anywhere except another funeral. So we had 2 comas, okay? Why didn't you just retire? Probably not that easy. I catch criminals, that's all I know, it's what I'm good at. I didn't retire because I love my job and I wasn't too old to keep doing it. Or, well, I had nothing else to do. All I had left was an empty house and a dirty barn. What was I going to do? Farming? All my tools rusted a long time ago. After a week of retirement like that, I would have put a bullet in my forehead. I guess we can go with, this is kind of just what we know. It's all we had. It was like our namesake. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid I'll be caught, locked in a cage, and put on display like a circus freak, and the only power I'll have left is bash my skull in the bars of my cell. Or I'm afraid I won't have a chance to clear my name or even explain myself before the law, before Freeburg, and most importantly, before you. You deserve an explanation the most. That's why I'm writing this letter. Let's go here. So it seems like we're going to have some reveals about what ultimately ended up happening with Jack. What are you planning to do next? I've changed a lot, though predictability is still not among my vices. I know I have to do something. The only question is how far I'll have to go. Or I can't tell you. It's not that I don't trust you. It's just I don't even know what I'll have to decide 10 seconds from now. Yeah. We do have to do something. Both of them are basically, we don't know what we're going to do. So he's sending a letter and money to the family. Probably feels really guilty.
We could hardly shut the guy up. He wasn't so tough. I didn't even get to the Phase 3. Phase 3 is where
We don't have a lot of time. They're moving their headquarters, but we should be able to nab most of them if we hurry. It's north of here, the old summer camp. But they never keep the goods at their headquarters. They always use a different place, usually an isolated house on the outskirts. Most of the time, these places have random tenants who don't even suspect that there's anything hidden under their floorboards. That way, the drugs can never be linked back to the neckties or the neckties to the drugs. You remember that little tavern called Forsetti? We went drinking there after graduation and broke that big mirror. Mr. Blaine's converted it into a house, and now he rents it out for almost nothing. 2 weeks ago, an old man moved in.
Oh, no.
And under his floorboards, there's 27 kilograms of heroin.
I'm starting to think that guy is leading us around by the nose. I bet there's 4 or 5 armed guards at the house. But you said it's a small place, right? Well, I bet there's 2 at least. I don't believe they just left the stuff under some old man's floorboards. Even if there is an old man living there, I bet he's in on it. Hey, maybe old man is just a nickname. What do you think? I bet he's a right cutthroat, hunkered down there, ready to ambush us. Maybe he already...
Well, you and Corey, go check it out. Take 2 cars in case it's not just an old man living in the house. Whoever you find there, bring them in. And don't forget about the heroin. Rest of you will come with me to storm their headquarters. Sound good to you, Lily?
So Gale is not just a simple secretary. Gale's got... Is he like a detective? I don't know what his deal is exactly. But he's got some pull for sure. All right, here we go. All events that require your attention are displayed on the Sharpwood map and by a card in the call list. Each call has a minimum professionalism requirement. To ensure that your cops can go on their call, their overall professionalism must meet the minimum requirement or required by that call. So this is quite a bit different from This Is the Police, the original one. So this requires 600. The Forsetti Tavern. The neckties are hiding a large batch of heroin in a house on the outskirts. Currently, that house is being rented by some old man, so I think this is Jack Boyd, or quote-unquote Nash. He's probably working with the ties and watching the goods, which maybe he is on it, maybe he's not, don't know. But we gotta put both of these guys in here and send this. So Fletcher and Bello, let's go. This is the first This Is the Police. It was kind of in a similar, like, little diorama style that we would see all our missions take place on. This one too, but this is way nicer. This is way nicer. Oh, the records again. Oh, that's so cool. Little throwback again. Jack. Oh boy.
Sharpwood Sheriff's Department. No. Look at this. No, well, just look, Corey. You couldn't find anyone better to watch the goods? Or they just didn't bother? Or are we missing something? What do you think, Corey? Think we're missing something? Huh? Is there some kind of special meaning to the fact that we've got drunk, dirty grandpa here, sitting in the shack watching the goods? Maybe we need to crack the code here, huh?
Well, any ideas where they hid the powder?
How about you look around while I... while I interrogate the suspect, huh?
Oh boy.
You. What's your name, old man?
Boyd.
What did you say, old man? You need to answer nice and clear when a police officer speaks to you.
My name is... Nash.
Oh.
Warren Nash.
I'll tell you something.
So he was
Warren
honest and then...
Nash.
Okay.
15 years on the force. I've seen all sorts of dirty shits. This town isn't exactly upscale, in case you haven't noticed. I've caught thieves, caught rapists, murderers, and drug traffickers. All part of the job, you know? I'm doing my job. Nice and easy, like a professional. But here you are. This filth, you don't make it easy to be easy. Filth like you drives me up the wall. With scum like you, I I just can't keep up the cold-blooded professional attitude. I just can't. You know why, Warren? Because...
Jeez,
I'm
this
sorry,
cop is
Warren.
power
I'll
tripping.
be just a second, all right?
Shit, Charlie! What the hell? Do you want
Corey, just look for the fucking drugs while I'm busy with the fucking suspect, okay?
Jesus, Charlie.
So, Warren, filthy things like you drive me nuts. 'Cause you think that we'll never catch up with you. You think the police can't do anything. You think we just rescue cats from trees and help old ladies carry their bags up to the porch. You think, you believe, you really believe that we'll never get to you. So you don't even have to try. You taking good care of the goods here, Warren? You ready for us here, Warren? Just waiting in ambush, Warren? You did fucking nothing, Warren! Fucking nothing! Because you thought we'd never come. But here I am, Warren. Here I am!
Jesus Christ!
What are you gonna do now, Warren? What's the big plan, Warren?
Hey, I think I found something.
You hear that, Warren? He found something. Next time, hide it better.
Whoa.
Well, this looks like 27 keys of heroin to you?
I would say there's somewhere between 26 and 28 keys.
Well, that sounds like 27, right?
Yep. Yep, looks like 27. So what are we thinking here? You load it up in the car and I'll pack up the old man. And any of this other junk we might need.
So the intel was correct. But we don't know if Jack or Warren is in on it. I'm guessing he's not, but maybe. We'll see. And him being a previous
I'd like,
sheriff. This could be an interesting
really
conversation.
need to talk to the sheriff as soon as possible.
I'm Sheriff Reed. You can talk all you like, but if I were you, I'd wait for my lawyer, Mr. Nash.
I don't, you said you're the sheriff?
That's what I said.
No. I'm just, are you Sharpwood, Sheriff?
I'm the sheriff.
He's old school because she's female.
Do you have the authority to...
Look, I'm wearing a shiny star on my chest. I'm sitting here in the middle of the night, and even though I'm exhausted, I'm poring over murder files that no one else wants to bother with. So yeah, I'm the sheriff. I may not be used to all this, and I'm not sure I ever will be, but I don't have another sheriff for you, Mr. Nash. You might as well accept it.
Listen, Sheriff. Sheriff Reed, right? Great, Sheriff Reed. I need to talk to the sheriff, and you're the sheriff, so it's even better. I mean, older sheriffs sometimes... Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about that. I just want to say that there's been a mistake. And I want to help you out here because
There was a huge batch of cocaine hiding in your house. You want me to believe you didn't know anything about it?
I rent that house. Only lived there a couple of weeks, and you know all that, right? It's easy to check, huh? Yeah, it's but that's not important. It's not that I'm trying. Listen, Sheriff Reed, you have to listen to me very carefully. I'm a policeman, just like you. You know?
Oh, so you must be undercover. Is that it, Mr. Nash?
No. It's much more complicated than that. My name isn't Warren Nash.
Yeah, I already knew that. Your fake documents are so bad they practically fell apart in my hands.
If you let me explain, would you like to see my real document, Sheriff? Look, that humidor, you see it?
What?
That little box, the little wooden box on the table, see? Looks like a jewelry box?
It's locked. We'll crack it open in the morning.
Wouldn't you rather open it now? Please, Sheriff Reed, let's open it now, and I'll try to explain everything. I'm in a very difficult situation, and I'm asking you to listen to me. Just open the box, and you'll find my passport in there, my real passport. My name's Jack Boyd. The documents that say I'm Warren Nash, I bought them for $90 at the rail station.
I think she got that figured out.
Please, just open the box and I'll explain everything, please.
You say you were a cop, huh?
Yes. I was a cop. I was the chief of police, just like you. Look, it's a very long and complicated story, but I assure you this is all just a huge misunderstanding. And the fact that I've gone into hiding here, the fact that I'm here at all, it's an injustice that I want to correct. And I'm asking you to help me.
This is really good. Like, I want to see where this goes. We've got, like, this kind of do-good sheriff, Lily Reed. Seems like she knows her shit. And now you got Jack Boyd from the previous game, who's, like, had a rough one. On the outs with his family. Took on a new identity, albeit kind of not efficiently.
Sheriff Reed, let's talk. I'm begging you.
You feel for the guy.
Sheriff Reed, let me...
Do you even know what you've been accused of, Mr. Boyd?
Let's just say I don't know if you know what happened in Freeburg last winter, but it had nothing to do with the law or justice. I was used.
You do understand that I have to report you to the feds, right, Mr. Boyd?
Sheriff Reed, if you do this, you just continue this. I believe that cops should help each other, so I just want to say... You seem like the kind of person
We've known each other for 5 minutes, Mr. Boyd. I doubt very much that I've made any impression on you at all. Whatever you've got yourself mixed up in, I hope that you find justice. If that's really what you want. But for now, all I know is this. You're a criminal, and they're looking for you.
Your folder.
I wonder how far
That's a case
Freeburg
file.
is
Can I see it?
compared to
Excuse me?
Sharpwood.
I worked as a detective for years. Even when I was chief, I did half of my detective's work. If you're having trouble with the case, I'm sure I can help. Cops should help each other. My exact words, right?
You think that I'm...
Listen, Sheriff Reed, what do you have to lose? You're the head of this police department. You've got to think rationally. I'm not trying to teach you how to do your work. I'm just for a minute, forget about all that, this whole awkward situation, okay? Right? You have an unsolved murder, and there's someone standing right in front of you who's offering to help. Maybe I'm an imposter, and I can't actually do anything. Maybe I'll even turn out to be a lunatic, scatter the file around the cell and dance around like a wild monkey. But maybe, just maybe, I really am an experienced cop who can help you find your killer. Don't you want that? Don't you want to give me a chance since you've got nothing to lose? Don't you want a real criminal in prison, not some sorry victim of circumstance like me? That's police work. Catching the real criminals, right?
It's a compelling argument.
I guess I'm going crazy.
Jackie boy. Okay, to solve the crime, you'll need to reconstruct the picture of what happened by placing the frames to the crime scene or crime's key events in the right order. To figure out what happened, you should carefully examine the evidence and witness testimony. You have all the necessary frames, but 2 people are suspected of the murder. You need to analyze whatever information is available and figure out which of them is the true culprit. Okay, so the secret of the forbidden flesh. This is what she's trying to solve. The dismembered corpse of Bob Finnegan was found on the display shelf in the meat department. This is Bob Finnegan's house. And then this is the corpse. So we've got these different clues. Another suspect. Victim's wife or man in a wrestling mask. What the hell? And then we got like 5 clues to slot in here, it looks like. Okay. This is the victim's wife. So I was at the neighbors to borrow some salt and heard on their TV that there's some crazy maniac started killing in Ripton. The journalist nicknamed him the Wrestler because he wears a wrestling mask. I usually don't pay any attention to the news, but this time I remember because as I was leaving, I noticed a Latino man in the street with a big sports bag, and he was just taking off a mask. I got home and there's blood everywhere and Bob's nowhere to be found. You think that maniac came all the way out here from Ripton? Then we've got the neighbor. That evening, Ruth came over to borrow salt. Okay, so that lines up. It's funny, she works at the grocery store, but she's always missing something. So this is like a common thing that she does come over. She sat at my place for a while and then said that she was going back to make dinner for Bob. I don't know how she put up with him. A typical man. He always walked around in a stupid t-shirt, spent the whole day staring at the TV and yelling for Ruth to bring him another Frosty. I went to visit often enough, and it was always the same thing. Recently, Ruth decided to try being a vegetarian. She'd read in a magazine that it'll make you live an extra 10 years, plus you get to lose a few pounds. So she started cooking without meat, beginning with vegetable soup, or thought she'd surprise Bob. But when he came home from work, he was yelling, "What the fuck is this without the meat?" I live next door and I could hear everything. They almost got into a fight. Okay. So this is like recounting. So she said that she went over there, which seems to corroborate here. Came over for salt. She works at the grocery store, but she's always missing something, which means she goes over there all the time to borrow stuff. The bathroom's covered in blood. It looks like this is where the victim's corpse was butchered. Store counter. The body parts were neatly laid out as if it were a display set for all to see. There's a crumpled garbage bag under the counter with traces of blood inside. And then medical examiner. The victim's throat was cut in one single confident motion. Death came almost instantly. There are no signs of struggle on the body. The corpse was dismembered after death. Whoa. I mean, okay, so she could have still done it and then went over to, like, set up her alibi. Right? What do we have in the photos? Bob Finnegan and Ruth Finnegan coral or vegetable soup. Approaches with a kitchen knife in her hand. Cuts Bob Finnegan's throat with a knife. Carves up his corpse in the tub with a cleaver. Enters the grocery store carrying a garbage bag. And then gives Bob Finnegan a bottle of beer. Okay. What the hell? And the other one, wrestling mask, watches Bob Finnegan through the window. He approaches him with a hacksaw in his hand. Cuts his throat with a hacksaw. Wait, what does this say? Cuts his throat with a hacksaw. Man in a wrestling mask cuts up Bob Finnegan's corpse in the bathtub. Walks in the grocery store carrying the sports bag. Man in wrestling mask watch TV. Okay, you know what I think is giving this away? In the medical examiner, it's saying his throat was cut in one single confident motion. And the weapons here, the hacksaw versus the knife. I think with the hacksaw, you're not doing one confident. You'd have to go back and forth because even as it sounds so bad to describe this, like I know what I'm talking about. But like even if you were to like swipe a hacksaw at somebody's throat, I don't think you're doing that in one go. Maybe, I don't know. I'm saying it's the wife. Who's a random wrestling guy? Okay, so they're quarreling about soup, right? She comes in here, cuts the throat, cuts him up, takes him into the store. Bob Finnegan's wife. She killed her husband to escape her unhappy marriage. The last straw was her criticism of the soup. Decided to kill her husband and make it look as though a maniac known as the Wrestler did it. Now, I wonder if we go in here, this guy's watching. He comes in, cuts the throat, chops him up. Okay. The elusive maniac nicknamed the Wrestler, who kills middle-aged white men, dismembers them, and places them on public display. I'm going with the wife, but it looks like you can actually pick either one. And I'm going based on the medical examiner's report of this one single confident motion with a knife compared to a hacksaw. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think it was Ruth Finnegan. Do you really want to press charges? Yeah. This is cool, actually. This is neat. We're already getting a sense of, like, all the different, like, styles of gameplay that we're going to run into. The way that these cases unfold and, like... Yeah, this is neat.
Lily, are you there? Lily?
Lily here. Come in.
Can you grab the box of flashbang grenades and get over here? There's no time to lose. Lily.
Copy.
She's either, like,
I'm on
in
my way.
disbelief, or she's... Like, either we got it right, or... I'm crazy. I don't know, maybe it's a wrestler guy. I don't know if that's a real thing, but she said she saw it on the news, but she was the one that... was killing people, maybe, so we'll see.
So?
I'm not seeing anything.
Lily, it's time.
Yes, just let me look at the plan.
Lily, we've got everything covered.
Gale, I need to take a look at the plan. Gale, the plan?
Lily, do you want to look at the plan, or do you want to change the plan?
I don't know,
I
maybe
need
both.
to
Just
see
give me the goddamn plan.
before I decide whether I need to change it.
Exactly.
Gale?
None of these guys have any respect for Lily. This is going to be an issue. Okay, things to do. Interrogate the necktie, get all information available, outfit and assign your strike team. Usually it takes several days to plan an assault, but this time Gale had to sketch out the plan in a hurry. Maybe you'll want to change something. Interrogate the necktie, get all the information available, outfit and assign your strike team. So what do we got going on here? At every position, there has to be a cop with the appropriate skills or equipment necessary for the assault. Assign your cops for the assault, carefully consider your intel, and select cops that are ideal for each position. So outside area, Gale wants to put a quick cop around the side of the car wash so he can cut off any escaping neckties. Gale knows that no assault is complete without a well-trained gunman. And then assault leader. Gale will lead the assault. He wants to capture as many neckties as he can, alive if possible. He's got strong negotiation skills. So if I unselect this, we can right-click and see their other abilities. Strength, intelligence, speed, shooting. Speed, stealth, shooting, negotiation. And then their loadout. But I wonder, like, can I say I want to put this guy here? I don't know if I can do that. It seems to be like, this is what we're doing. Side entrance. Gale's confident that a clever cop could outwit the side door of the workshop and sneak inside. He's got that, like, burglary thing that we saw to enter quietly. The main entrance, Gale's assigned an agile cop with a stun grenade to storm the workshop and believes that a stealthy cop can sneak into the workshop unnoticed and take the neckties by surprise. Whoa, this is, like, really intense. There's a lot going on here. Okay. There's a lot of systems at play.
Yes, let's get him over here. Someone needs to go get Kanan. Does anyone know Kanan lives? Jesse, grab that blue bag over there. Bring it over here. I'll call him. Bring me that bag. I'll call Kanan. The bag, Jesse.
Jesus, Jesse, we don't have time for that. Bring me that bag.
No, come on.
Lily, put pressure here. Press there and don't let him. Make it? You think he'll make it?
We need to put something under his head.
Uh-oh.
He's dead, Lily. Lily, he's dead. Gale's dead.
Oh, Gale's dead. What?
Now you can call Kanayan.
Who's Kanan? Maybe the, coroner? Or ambulance? Okay, we've already had 2 people die. Sheriff Wells. And investigating that led us to Jack Boyd's place where this heroin was found. And Now, we went out to this other location,
What was his name?
and Gail's dead.
I mean the deceased officer. What's his name?
Gail Greenberg.
Were you close?
No, but... No. We went to school together.
Yeah, he mentioned graduation
Sheriff
earlier.
Reed,
Sheriff Reed. Ha! Sheriff Reed. If my dad could hear you say that, he'd died of laughter. He'd laugh like a madman, choke on his favorite meatballs even. Sheriff Reed. Call me Lily. My aunt lived in Freeburg. She sold flowers. Had her own store, a little shop. My mother and I used to visit during the summer. You have warm summers there. Warmer than here.
Anywhere's warmer than here.
So, what happened in Freeburg? Mr. Boyd?
Here we go.
That's a very... I'm sorry. Forgive me, Lily. I begged you for a chance to tell you everything, and now I don't know where to start.
You were slandered?
You could say that.
So you aren't guilty of anything?
Not totally true.
I'm plenty guilty, but not what I've been accused of. I was just a fool. A blind fool.
You're right, Mr. Boyd.
I'm sorry?
The sheriff's job is to think rationally. I figured I might be a shit cop, but at least I can think rationally. Now I'm not so sure.
Lily, listen to me. You aren't guilty of anything. I've been a police chief going on 13 years, and I can't say that I never... let's just say it's a difficult job. It gets complicated. And to put you in this position, it was, I just want to say
Don't
that...
be shy, Mr. Boyd. I don't make much of a sheriff. Is that what you wanted to say? Because I completely agree with you.
Lily, listen to me. I'm a policeman. Whatever position I'm in now, whatever this is, whatever my official status, I'm still a policeman. I'm a policeman and I know how to do this job. And I will help you. Cops should help each other. Isn't that what we were talking about earlier? Don't you agree with me?
There is this, like, unbreakable, unspeakable bond that cops seem to have.
What was it you said, Mr. Boyd? Maybe you're an imposter, maybe you're crazy, but maybe you... honestly, I don't even know if I...
Lily, why are you pointing that gun at me? Can I get out of this cage? Lily?
Yes, Mr. Boyd. Yes, you can get out of the cage.
This will be an interesting test.
You want me to... Well, I guess I'm asking. You want me to get to work? What is it you want me to do exactly?
You can get some sleep in the break room. It's over there to the left, the dark green door. I'll still be here in the morning, and in the morning we... Well, we'll figure this out. Tomorrow you can gather up your things, Mr. Boyd.
Yes, I just... this letter, I'd like to send it as soon as possible. This, it's for my children. It's important.
I can mail it for you. I don't mind. I've got a letter to mail myself.
She is extremely trusting.
Lily, I wanted
What?
to...
You want to know if I'm going to call the feds? No, I won't call the feds. Do I realize that means I'm breaking the law? Yeah, I know. Do I understand that you could make a run for it at any time? Yeah, I know that too.
I'll see you in the morning.
This is cool, man. I'm into this. I like where this is going. It's dark. There's like the case with the like dismembered the husband or whatever. Like what? This is neat. Okay, cool. You know what? I think we'll wrap it up here for the first episode. It's probably just over an hour. And likely what we'll try and do is tackle like one day at a time, like one day per episode, depending on how long they are. But yeah, this is interesting. Like way heavy on the narrative and the story, and it gave us like a good idea of what the different styles of gameplay are. We had the detective case, we had the XCOM kind of tactical thing at the beginning. We sent out like the couple of officers on that one call. We had that like the approach that that Lily set up, and like we're gonna put these people here, and then they went out and like did the thing. We didn't have any control over it, but like maybe there's some missions like that too. It'll be interesting to see, but they're doing a good job of like layering things and like introducing us to things slowly, which I like. And story-wise, I'm actually really excited to see where this goes. So hopefully you guys enjoy. And as this is the first video in the series, if you don't mind just clicking the thumbs up button. It sounds subtle. It sounds like a small thing, but it does help me quite a bit. And yeah, I appreciate it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game. And there's some links below if you're interested in checking it out further. And we'll just go from here. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you soon. I'm going to probably pump these out quite a bit as there's not really much else happening right now. But in the coming weeks, things are going to ramp up pretty heavily. So let's play a lot of This Is the Police 2 and get into it. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.